Hey guys, today we're taking a look at the new DC Multiverse Walmart exclusive Black Lightning from Final Crisis. Let's get a better look at that packaging, shall we? And here is the figure up close and personal. Here we of course have the McFarlane gold label thing right there. It's not a sticker, but it's basically a sticker. Yeah, of course the 12 plus, and then of course 22 moving parts. McFarlane Toys logo right there. And of course on the bottom you have the typical DC Multiverse logo with the white Black Lightning nameplate right there. And of course on the side you have the Black Lightning nameplate again with DC Multiverse logo right there. Then you have an ad down here for DC Universe Infinite, which if you scan this QR code, you will get, I'm assuming, the first issue of Final Crisis. Don't quote me on that, but it's an issue of Final Crisis, since this is where this figure is depicted from. And of course on the back, we have an image of Black Lightning, assumingly from Final Crisis. They get the sources wrong all the time on these figures, so who knows if it's actually from Final Crisis, but it looks like early 2000s art, so I'll say it's from Final Crisis. And then of course Black Lightning from the pages of Final Crisis. And then of course you have another DC Universe Infinite ad at the bottom right there. Then you also have the McFarlane Toys social medias. Of course, follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram if you guys want to be updated on Multiverse. They're very candid on their posting, and like they post something about it within hours of the site of their site getting up for pre-order. So very solid there. And then you of course have Black Lightning from the pages of Final Crisis. Then of course DC Multiverse logo up there, and the McFarlane Toys Spawn logo at the bottom. And of course you have a window at the top. Then on the bottom you of course have the Justice League legalese right there, with of course the barcode for all you barcode hunters out there, saying Black Lightning gold label, but it's first incarnation of this character. Alright guys, let's get this dude out of the packaging. And here is Black Lightning out of the packaging. And of course, before we take a look at the figure and the accessories he comes with, we're of course going to take a look at the other contents, which I swear you know what's coming. I swear, every time I go a little bit crazier doing the same thing. But he of course comes with the base, and it's of course your standard DC Comics logo right there with the one peg. And then, of course, the four little cutout things right there. And I cut mine a little because when I pulled off the clamshell for the hockey puck, I just pulled off the clamshell and I had to use my knife on it. So, L there, but... And then you, of course, have the individualized card, which has Black Lightning from the pages of Final Crisis, looking actually very good. Then on the back, you, of course, have the bio right there, which I think this underrates Black Lightning's origins, because the reason why he becomes a superhero is because his father is murdered by a man called Tobias Whale, who is an albino businessman. And, or at least he's, like, hit, or at least Tobias Whale, like, put out a hit on him. Same thing, practically. But that's what ends up happening, is that Tobias either puts out a hit or personally deals with Louis Pierce himself. Black Lightning watches it happen, and then he becomes a superhero for the people of whatever city he's in. And yes, he's a he's a school principal. And he stands up for, you know, the downtrodden youth of America and stuff like that. He's a really good guy. He's a really good guy. And yes, he's more prominently a member of the Outsiders and places like that. He is on the League at certain times whenever they need a lightning-based character and they can't use Static Shock because Milestone lawsuits. They get Black Lightning. But, let's take a look at the other accessories, which, of course, he comes with 2 variations of hands. He comes with 2 open palm hands, which one is his natural gloved hand, like so. And then another is a translucent electricity kind of piece right there. Same sculpt for the hand, just inverted and with a little bit of lightning effects on the back of it. It's really cool. It's really cool, but I don't like seeing that peg right there. It kind of throws me off. But besides that, I think it looks pretty good. And if you face it like that, it's not as noticeable. And then, of course, he comes with some fists, which same deal, except the reminder that the open palm hand goes on his right hand, and the fist goes on his left side. And for the gloved hands, it's the opposite. So for the right hand is the fist, and the left hand is the open palm. And again, translucent fist with some... And I dropped it. Some lightning effects on it. Where'd it go? Well, it disappeared. Because I have no idea where it's at. But, yeah, he's got hands. And let's get a better look at the figure. And I'll take that off and put his gloved hands on for the remainder of the look at the figure anyway. So, I've already got a problem. And it's the fact that they don't really source their art well. They say it's from something, and then they completely dismiss it. He's bald. He's bald in the picture. What's he not on the actual character? I get it. Sometimes Jeff is bald, sometimes he's not. But stick to it. If you say your source has him bald, make him bald. What's the deal with not making bald black men, hey? But anyway, I think this is actually, just from looking at him a little bit, I think this is the Speeding Bullets body, which I've never actually owned the Speeding Bullets figure or any of the re-releases of the body. I know he was casted a few times, but I'm pretty sure this is the Speeding Bullets body. But you, of course, have the ridged lining all the way down the suit, going to the glove, which is actually sculpted, thank God. Sculpted gloves are nice. And I love this design for his logo. I've always found that really dope. And then, of course, you got the lightning belt right there. And then more ridges, tactical ridges going down the leg. And you, of course, got boots with some straps at the bottom. Makes me think they're like Adidas or something like that. But besides shades of blue and some yellow, he's not the most aesthetically interesting. And you, of course, have the yellow mask, which, again, they don't cast in translucent plastic because they gotta save money. Cool. I think it's an interesting choice to do this, because I have seen him in other stuff where it's, I think they're also trying to harken on, get him to look a little bit like the Black Lightning TV show version of the character, which is where I know him best from, because I saw the first 2 seasons. I haven't seen the last 2. It kind of got old for me real quick after a while. But, besides that, there's not really much to go in with this figure, really. You can even see the fact... You can see the belt! Oh my god, I didn't even notice that. You can see the Speeding Bullets belt go around. Oh, that's lazy. That's lazy. L, Todd. L. cast him into the Shadow Realm for this one. Anyway, though, let's see if we can notice if... Oh no, that looks like a new piece. A new piece? What? But you can't even tell that there were fins there. So that's cool. But yeah, with this first being the Speeding Bullets body, this is pretty interesting book. But let's get in the articulation. He, of course, has a double ball peg in the neck, which has him look up about that far. So if you know, at least in the show, I don't know a lot for his other sources. I haven't read a lot of Black Lightning comics. He can fly somehow with energy projection, so you can definitely make him... You can do flying if you put his... that looks really weird, but it is what it is. And then, of course, can do all the stuff that you need to do with the head right there. Very loose shoulders here for the shoulders. And, of course, you can go out and all the way around like so. You have bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which, yikes. They do look pretty flush, though. I'll give them that. So it's not the complete worst thing on the planet. And then I love these joints. The wrists, you can move them down and back. Then you can move them forward and back with some finagling. I love these wrist joints. They're the best wrist joints in the game, bar none. Hasbro, eat your heart out. Just made some Marvel Legends people mad. You, of course, have the torso joint here, which he can do the limbo. He can move very far forward. Holy crap! Wow. That's impressive. That's very impressive. I think this is the farthest leaning character I have in my collection. Wow. That's cool. Anyway, we have the standard McFarlane leg joints right there. Then you have, that's not even thigh pivot. You, of course, have the knees, which, less said about those, the better. I mean, they have good range, but, like, they look atrocious. Then, of course, you have rotation at the top of the ankle. At the bottom, you, of course, have nice ratchet joints at the bottom. You have, of course, ankle pivot. And, of course, toe articulation, which is nice and ratchety. Something not a lot of figures have, or you can even notice anymore, pretty much. And here we have the closest thing to the Outsiders we have so far. We haven't gotten a lot of Outsiders characters yet. We don't have Katana, Metamorpho, none of those guys. But, of course, we have 3 Jokers Batman here, and Wave 1 Nightwing. And you can see how far, even from these two, that McFarlane's just gotten in the way the joints are hidden, the way that how organic Black Lightning looks compared to Nightwing. Like, you can see a ton of improvements from when Todd first got the license to now. And I'm excited to see what he does going forward. But alas, you can't really assemble an Outsiders yet, unfortunately. Of course, I couldn't do one of the most prominent African-American heroes without, of course, giving you guys a display of all of the African-American heroes and villains that I have in my collection. We, of course, have Signal, Duke Thomas, Luke Fox, Batwing, of course, Virgil, Static Shock. Jean is always played by an African-American actor. 90% of the time, the most notable Martian Manhunter performances are from an African-American. So, I think he's kind of grandfathered in a little bit. Then you, of course, have Jefferson Pierce, Black Lightning, Calderon, Aqualad, John Stewart, Green Lantern, John Stewart, Power Ring, Tim Fox, or Jace Fox, Batman, Next Batman, and of course, Black Manta. I forget his real name. But the African American community are definitely getting some representation in the DC Multiverse pantheon here, and it's turning into a mighty fine team. If you want to display your figures like that, by all means. And alright guys, that'll really do it as we're winding down here for this Black Lightning review here. Overall, I mean, it's the Speeding Bullet's body. It's not a new body. It's, again, just a new head and some additional hands. Those hands are cool. As you can see, you can get them working efficiently. It's pretty hard, though, with, especially with both of them not being able to do the same thing. Because, like, if you had two fist electricity hands, you could have him, like, do a boxing pose, like how I have Jace Fox. Or if you have two open palm hands, you could have him sort of like, kind of like raising the electricity from things and stuff like that. But with one of each, it kind of makes it impossible to do either. So you're sitting there trying to, like, make do with what you got. Or you have him look like the most boring superhero ever with both of his gloved hands. That's what you're kind of stuck with, unfortunately. Even though, again, you can get him working because I have him on a flight stand and he's, like, about to, like, ground pound somebody. But at the same... That sounded really weird, but you get what I'm saying, though, right? He's a very, He's not a new figure at all. There's not much I can recommend about this guy besides the fact if you like the character. I mean, there's nothing really speaking to this figure that's like, oh, you should totally get this figure. It's like, no. He's a spot in your collection to be filled. Just like Hawkman. Just like, what other characters are like that? I don't know, really. Superboy, I guess. Just like, honestly, if I didn't want to get a decent Justice League roster, or if I didn't know who the character was and didn't care about the character, I probably would have skipped him, to be honest, because you don't have enough for an Outsiders. That's the only reason why you'd really want to get this guy, is that if you know the character and if you want to, like, assemble an Outsiders, but there's no other Outsiders yet. There's no Katana, there's no Metamorpho, none of those guys. So it ultimately comes down to if you like the character. And I do like the character, and I really liked him in things like Young Justice. I thought he was really cool. Say what you want about the later seasons of Young Justice. Black Lightning was one of the highlights of the later seasons of Young Justice, and his relationship with Static was very cool. And the show, too, I thought Cress Williams did an amazing job as the character there as well. But for the figure, he's kind of a skip. Even though he's like, I'd say a 7, he's a good figure. He's a average. Actually, no, 6. 6. He's a 6. Because you've got the effects pieces that you can really do wonders with, but the limitations are there, and that's what kind of makes this figure kind of meh. But, as always, guys, I would appreciate it if you let me know, if you, of course, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And also let me know what you think about this figure, if you have him, or if you're going to get him, your opinions in general, down in the comments below. I love reading your guys' opinions on the figure. And, as always, guys, keep collecting, be supportive of one each other, make a positive fan base here, and, yeah, guys, I will catch you guys in the next video, whenever that is. Peace, guys.